Just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you all out to a musical extravaganza called the Night and Day Project. Please save your applause. Do it because I love living. You don't hear me though.
A lot of people, when you look at married couples, successful couples, they're like, when you know, you know. And as a person who ain't ever known, I just want to know if do you really feel like, especially like hearing all of y'all go through loops, do you feel like that statement is really true? If you know, you know. Or two, like at what point did you really know, like, this is the person for me and they are worth it and I am gonna stick it out?
Come on, question so strong.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
It's funny you talk about that because Codie and I talk about monogamy all the time. And the thing that I always like to say is that you can't force monogamy on someone. Someone has to recognize that they want to be monogamous first and then share monogamy with someone else. So for me as a man, I decided that I wanted to be monogamous. You know, it had nothing to do with Codie or anything she was doing. I just wanted to be monogamous. And then I wanted to try to share my monogamy with her in hopes that she would want to be monogamous and share her monogamy with me. And then you go through that period of trying to be monogamous together and learn about it. And then when you realize that, you know what, this person is the person that I want to share my monogamy with for the rest of my life, that's when you realize. And it takes time because you have to learn someone. You don't know if the person that you're dating is worth your monogamy. They may not even be worth it if you don't know them. So, and what happens is society puts so much pressures on us that it's like the minute you start talking, it's like, well, are we exclusive? We just started dating. How are we exclusive? Like, I don't even really know you. And well, I need to know. And it's not only women, it's dudes too. Like, I got a homeboy, I ain't gonna blast him, but he loves to feel like he can force women to just wanna be with him. And he talk all the time, like, when I put this grade A on her, she gonna wanna be with me, you know what I'm saying? And then 3 weeks later, we like, bruh, I was on your girl Instagram and she was sitting across from a dude with tattoos and a Rolex. You don't got tattoos or a Rolex. And then he's like, yeah, man, fuck these bitches, man. No, it ain't them, bro. She didn't want to be monogamous. She never told you. You put that on her. That's not fair for you to put that on her. The same way it's not fair for women to put it on a man. Let him know or let her know that, listen, I want to be monogamous. If you want to be monogamous, let's figure it out together. And in time, it'll happen.
So, as somebody who proposed in 6 months, I would say the answer is yes. And for me, it really came down to, we hung out a lot very quickly in the first week and a half, 2 weeks. And I realized at that point there was no doing better than her at all. It just wasn't gonna happen. And so it was so very clear. And so, you know, I'm sort of the kind of person where you figure out what you want from the menu, put that shit down. It's like, it's like, look, I am not doing better than this woman, and so why am I gonna keep looking? Why am I gonna mess this up? Why am I gonna delay our life? And so I do believe in that, and I hope you find it wherever you are. I hope you find it. I hope the person finds you. I hope you find that person and you make space for that to happen.
I got a bunch of single friends. Who meet chicks and be like, listen, man, I'm not looking for anything. I just want to have a good time. And then the woman may be like, me too, I want to have a good time too. Then after the first and second time, the question is, what are we doing here? I told you immediately in the beginning what we were doing. Oh, you playing with me? No, I'm not playing. I told you exactly what I want. Oh, so you think you can just come in here? It's like I told you. It ain't just the men playing games now. Women,
I
a lot of
agree,
times,
and it's not just the playing game. Sometimes as women, we don't want to say, I'm looking for something serious. We just had this conversation.
See?
Alicia, I don't know where you are. I'm not calling you out because it wasn't you, it was your friend. But we just had this conversation where, you know, we were just talking about you have to say what it is you want
right,
as early as necessary. Otherwise, you could could get your feelings hurt, and then that's on you. You know, and we did have those conversations right away. So I knew, you know, we both knew what we were looking for. So that's why 6 months was 6 months. And we moved in after 3. Anyway, go ahead.
My husband and I talk about business ventures that we want to pursue. I want to be able to separate business and our marriage. How do you guys balance that?
We don't. We don't. We just started to probably get a little better at it, but I would say we created the show and ultimately like partnered on what was initially his production company, but I think we kind of did those things out of necessity at first. Like it was like, this is what we got to do to make the show happen, right? So I wouldn't say we like consciously had a conversation or anything about how we were going to approach it, and that was maybe a problem. You know what I mean? Maybe we should have.
Well, you were actually very hesitant in the beginning.
Word.
Keep talking.
Oh, that's it? Yeah, so I mean, the short answer is we don't, but we're working on that. And yeah, I mean, it is hard because we'll have conversations, as Tommy says, which is very, very true. I love my husband, but I often hate my producer. Like, hate. like why would I want to go home to him? Like, why? But he's a tough producer. Yeah, I mean, he is. So it's work. It's work to talk through those things and to grow and get better, for sure, which maybe sounded very scary to you. But if it's worth, like at the end of the day, the business is worth it. The fact of the matter is, our kid comes to the office every day. Like, we have so much flexibility. Everything we do together. It really is worth it at the end of the day.
One of the things for me, though, is that I actually love working with my wife. I like that I like her. I like to be around her. I like for us to be able to travel. I like for us to be able to do all sorts of stuff. And I like that we spend a lot of time together. That said, I love what we do. I love being able to create stuff. I love being able to do stuff like this. But make no mistake, my relationship, my family is more important than all of that. It is. And so if at any point that starts to compromise things, then we'll figure out how to rearrange some other stuff business-wise, because that's always going to be in position number 2. Always. No matter how important it is, no matter how much I care about it, it's always going to be subordinate to making sure that my wife is happy and that we are okay. And that said, so there are things that I try to do. And so we don't necessarily do them all the time or necessarily the most successfully. But once we get home, I try to limit, at least for me, business. It's like, look, we worked all day. We had a lot of stuff going on. We had the kid in the morning. We were at the office all day. I want a little bit of time with my wife. Like, I do. And so it's like, business is fun and it's good. But I'm also a big believer that work will be, however much time you give work is how much time it'll take. And so if what you say is you got to get it done by 7 o'clock, you get it done by 7. But if it's okay that, you know, you're working until 11, then that's what it's going to be every single night. And so for me, it's about making sure to set those boundaries and making sure to spend time with my wife, and not the director, not the partner, not any of those things, but my wife. And so you can do them all. It's just about figuring out the balance that works for you.
Before we get to our last question, one cool thing, and I've been doing this 14 or 15 years in the business with some of the biggest names and a lot of married couples. One thing that you guys do that's so unique is you hire your friends. Not because they're the homies. They have a skill set, but it's a very family environment where I've even babysat Brooks and I don't have no babysitting skills. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that we all actually like each other, it actually shows up in the office space. And I think it's important to pick your tribe carefully so that when you and your husband do get into these joint ventures, the people around you are people who you trust and who can support you and who can watch your kids at the drop of a dime. Word.
That is completely true. Sorry, I have to jump on that because you're 100% true, and that's definitely all Tommy. I mean, Tommy very early on was like, I don't do business with you unless I want to have dinner with you, right? Like it's just the people that work with us are family. And we look out for them and they look out for us, and so it just makes it all a lot easier and better. Talented family, don't get me wrong. And then the other thing, while we're here for Black Love, is that extends to these couples. Like, that was another thing that Tommy says, is it the same dinner? Like he was like, every couple that we interview, like, if I don't want to have dinner with them, I don't want to talk to them. Like, I don't want to do that. And the reality is, like, that we feel so strongly and so passionately about each of you, and I'm looking at Mark and Julie and Brittany and Tony as well, like, it's, and we hope that that comes through when you're watching, is that like, we're all sitting together in the living room talking. Go ahead, babe.
So I think one of the things about sort of how we actually do the show, so the entire production crew is the two of us. Literally the two of us.
That's it.
And so the whole idea being that it's an intimate conversation amongst four people, so just two couples, and it's really, hey, you've been in this game a lot longer than we've been in it. You've been married, you've been through a lot of stuff. What can we learn? How can we get to where you are? And so it's not about this big production with a bunch of people and a big old anything. It's just about people sitting across from the table trying to help us. And because of that, it's genuine, it's real. And what she was saying, it came up where there were maybe like one or two couples where we were watching them after the fact, and I was like, I wouldn't want to hang out with them. And you don't see them in the show. Really, because the whole idea really is like, you're sitting at home in your living room and they're on your TV. They could be sitting in your living room. And if you don't feel that they are genuine and honest and there for the right reasons, then they shouldn't be there, and they won't be there.